Welcome to the FaceTime with God podcast. I'm your host, Kay Farrar, and yes, you have tuned in to the right place because we're bringing Christ to the culture and the culture to Christ. Because the gospel's not for old times, it's for all times. So we've got relevant topics, real people, and we're starting right now. Hey everybody, it's Kay Farrar with this week's podcast. The kids are on break, and so we thought it was a great time to share some fun activities that we had the opportunity to participate in with one of our local schools. It was called All About Me Day that they did for the students, and they had the whole nine. I'm not even going to go through it all because it was just amazing. One of the most well put together events that I've ever been to with students, and just fun. And what we did, the Holy Spirit gave me an idea that I shared with my team, and we put it together so that we could minister life to the kids and they could have fun doing it in a game format. So we call it the Truth Challenge, and there's a couple different ways we can do it. And so they just do positive affirmations, and we have a big stopwatch. How many positive, truthful things can you say about yourself in 20 seconds? And they got 10 points for each one that they did. And then we had another little station they moved on to where they played the old-fashioned operation game. And the header there was that it's in the details. Once again, to be specific about what we do. And so when, it emphasized that when they were playing the game, and specific about our words. And we had 2 huge prizes, and the team brought candy. So it made our table popular and fun. But I want to share a couple facts with you. One, I want to share why we are so big on supporting schools. This is our main outreach that we do. And the first reason I like doing it is, to be honest, when we support the schools, really what we're doing is you get kind of like a 1-2 punch benefit, because on one hand, you're giving and you're supporting, those students and the families. But on the other hand, sometimes you don't really think about it, but on the other hand, you're helping to lift the load off of those teachers, off of those community advocates, those family advocates, off of those counselors, off of the school personnel, the principal. A lot of the school personnel end up going in their pockets to just support the kids. The other reason that I love to support the schools is when you give to a school and the personnel working in that school, they see those kids day in and day out. They see the families and they know the needs. You are giving sort of to the source in the sense that they know where the specific needs are. So if they say, we have a family and we have a clothing need here, or, God forbid, but there was a tragedy in a particular household. And so they have a list of things that they need, and you can step in and be a part of supplying those specific needs. Is going to the source. And so that's why we love it. But I also wanted to give you a couple stats, and then we're also going to give you some more information about our adopted school. But only 2 things I want to share. The first one is that it is reported by the Economic Policy Institute that for every $1 invested in a public school reaps $7 in economic benefits to the society at large. So there is a 7-fold benefit to supporting public education and supporting the schools. And then the second point because y'all know I kind of like these, but I'm only giving you two. The second point that I wanted to highlight, this comes from the Learning Policy Institute, and the dates are supposed to be on this report I pulled, but they're not here. But it says that students in well-funded schools score 20 to 25% higher in math and reading. So this is kind of groundbreaking. But when you meet those basic needs, it doesn't stop there, but it shows up in math. It shows up in reading. It shows up in the students' scores in their performance. So those are some of the key reasons why I love supporting the schools. I hope if you weren't already convinced, that maybe this will convince you to get involved, to volunteer, to support. We're going to, and if you can't get involved, but you want to support, we can help with that. We can, you can get involved and support us as we support our schools. So we're going to come back and share a little bit more about that. And we just want to get our information out early. I told you I'd come back and share with you some information about Chamberlain. They were rated by U.S. News and World Reports, like all schools are rated. And they rated 191 out of all the schools in the state of Virginia, which is pretty good. And they have a special icon on their page, just like the #1 school in the state. And it says an award-winning school. So kudos to Chamberlain for all you do. Everything that I have seen from, you know, the people working in the office to working with the school counselor, working with the family advocate, working with the other volunteers. It's just a beautiful spirit at that school. And I would encourage you to get involved. I would encourage you, if your company has a volunteer program and you have hours to use and you're not using them, you might want to become a mentor. And we'll put up some information. We'll have information on our website or in the comments section, so that in the description, I should say, so that you can find out more about how you can get involved. But one point I want to make about the #1 school, which is Kingston Elementary School. If you had to guess where they're located, where would you guess? You probably would pick two places, Northern Virginia or the Virginia Beach area. And you're right, it is in Virginia Beach, one of the most prosperous areas of the state, which goes back to that statistic we mentioned earlier, that properly resourced schools support math scores and reading scores that are anywhere from 20 to 25% higher. So Chamberlain Elementary has a student-teacher ratio of 12 to 1, which is better than average. Kingston, the #1 school in the state, elementary school, according to U.S. News and World Reports, this is the printout that I got from them, U.S. News and World Reports. Their student-teacher ratio is 15 to 1. It's not as good as Chamberlain, but they come from a more prosperous area. So sometimes the resources can take you further than even hands on deck. That's what I get from that. You let me know. What do you get from that? All right? But we can help fill that gap. And I know there's some tough things happening in the world now, and it seems like it's escalating more and more. You don't know from one day to the next what you might see in the news, but how about we know how we can help make news? We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony, but we overcome evil with good. Let's figure out how we can continue to do good no matter what is going on around us. And you know, our kids still need us. So that's our podcast for today. Enjoy your summer, and we will be back talking to you about the schools right around the corner this coming fall. We look forward to partnering with you, whether you work in your local school or whether you want to help us help our school of choice. Have a beautiful summer, and we'll see you soon.
Colossians 3:23 and 24. And whatever you do, do it with all your heart as unto the Lord and not unto men, knowing that it's of the Lord that you shall receive the reward of the inheritance, because you serve the Lord Christ.